Hi, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah and I talk about all things bookish. So today's video is going to be a February TBR. Now I know you're probably thinking you're a little bit late, we're already 7 days, is it 7? 8 days into February, but I've read 2 books so far this month. I might average about 5 a month, so I'm going to pick another 3. So I do have a TBR jar. I'll show it you, it's really pretty. But if I'm honest, it needs updating and I want to change it. So when I first did this, I wrote down all the books that were on my shelf at the time and I put them in here. But when I was picking them out, I was like, I don't want to read that, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put TBR prompts in here. For March. I'm hopefully going to do that by the time I come to my March TBR, because I just feel like when you pick a prompt out, you have a bit more choice, don't you? Obviously you pick it alongside the prompt, but I do think you have a little bit more choice. So that's what we're going to do today. So like I said, I don't have the prompts in that, but I did find a prompt generator on my phone, so we're going to use that and we're going to pick 3 books because that will mean that I've read 5 for February, and I think that's about average. So we're going to pick 3 more. So this is the generator that I'm using, so let's press spin for the first one. Can you see that? So it says a hand on the cover. Okay, so on my TBR cart, we've got romance, fantasy, and then we've got thrillers at the bottom. So I'm going to try and pick one from each shelf because I am quite a mood reader, and I think that if I pick one from each shelf, it covers all bases. So a hand on the cover. So start with the romance. We've got this one by Abby Jimenez. This is Part of Your World, and this is one that I do want to read quite quickly. Now there is a hand, so I'm going to put that into the maybe pile for now. We've got Road Trip, but that one doesn't have any. Then Page 2 books don't have one. We've got The Graham Effect by L. Kennedy. That's kind of got a hand on it, so we'll do that. Then Free Don't. That one doesn't. Don't think that one or that one does. Let's turn it round. We've got Spiral by Bal Cobra. Now that kind of does, but I'm not going to count that. We have Out of the Woods, which does have one, but I think that's like the 4th one in the series, so we'll leave that. That one. So Next of Kin, that's the first one in the Hannah Bonam-Young series. Now that does have a hand, I'm going to class that, so I think I'm going to choose this one out of these 3 because I do really want to start reading Hannah Bonam-Young, so I'm going to choose that one. So that's going to be our first book, Next of Kin by Hannah Bonam-Young. So we're going to spin again. I really hope you can read that, but it is favourite author. Most of these on here are authors that I haven't read yet, so I feel like that's quite a difficult one because a lot of them, like I say, I haven't read. So there's a couple on here that I really do like though, so I think we'll class that as kind of a favourite author. So probably the one that I'm going to go to is The Crash by Freida McFadden. Now I've got the sprayed edge version from the works, but I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I might just read like a bit of both. But yeah, I'm super happy with that choice. The only other one on there that I have read would be Riley Sager. So Home Before Dark. He's another one. I've only read one other book of his and I did really enjoy it, but I think if we're going in comparison, I've read most of Freida McFadden's and you can't go wrong with it, so we're going to go with this one. So just a little recap. We've got Next of Kin by Bonam-Young. Then we've got The Crash by Freida McFadden. So let's spin again. I hope you can read that. So it is adult fantasy. Okay, that works out perfectly because then we've got one from each shelf. So I'll kind of go through the ones that we've got on the shelf. So we've got Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Now that is one that I do want to read. We've also got Reckless, which is the second one in that series. We've then got Bride by Ali Hazlewood. Now that is one that I do want to read, so I think that's a contender. I'm going to leave that one out. We've then got, the thing is, I think that's an adult one. I don't think that's YA, but I might have to double check that one. Then we've got My Roommate is a Vampire, which could be a contender, but again, I'm not sure if this counts as a YA book. But we'll check that one out as well. We've got Serpent and the Wings of Night. Now I do really want to read this because it gets such good reviews, but I don't know. I think I'm going to put that one back for now because I think that's part of a series. It's not a standalone, so I kind of want to go for a standalone. Again, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. That is also part of a series, so I'm going to put that one back. And we've got the Filthy Rich Vampire series. We've got Belladonna. I'm not sure if that's YA actually. Yeah, YA fantasy, that one. And then I've got A Cruel Thirst, but that one is YA fantasy. So we're stuck between these two. So Bride by Ali Hazlewood is not considered a YA, it is considered an adult fantasy. And My Roommate is a Vampire, which is, it is part of a series, but it is not considered a YA, it is considered an adult. So I think we're going to go with Bride because it is not part of a series and it is a standalone, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we're going to go with Bride by Ali Hazlewood. Now I'm super excited to read this because I haven't read any of Ali Hazlewood's books, but I have been wanting to read them, so I'm super excited to read that one. So there we have it. We have picked 3 books, so let's go through them. And it's one from each genre, which I love. So the first one that we've got is The Crash by Freida McFadden. So I'll read the back and yeah. So Tegan is 8 months pregnant, alone and desperately wants to put her crumbling life in the rearview mirror. So she hits the road, not realising she's heading straight into a blizzard. Hours later, when Tegan is stranded in rural Maine with a dead car and a broken ankle, she worries she's made a terrible mistake. Then a miracle occurs. She's rescued by a couple who offers her a room in their warm cabin until the snow clears. But something isn't right. Staying here may have been her most deadly mistake yet. A gut-wrenching story of motherhood, survival and twisted expectations. That sounds... And I have seen a lot of people rate it really high, like 4 or 5, so I'm super excited for that. I mean, you can't go wrong usually with a Freida McFadden. They're quite easy reads and yeah, I just love them. So that's book 1. Then we have chosen Next of Kin by Bonam-Young. Again, I haven't read hers. I've never read any of her books, but I did want to start them. So let's read the back of this and see what this is all about. When people-pleasing Chloe learns that her birth mother has unexpectedly had another baby, she doesn't hesitate to become a kinship carer. But failing to meet social services' financial evaluation, she is faced with a choice: see her baby sister placed in foster care or participate in a new initiative where two prospective guardians join households to qualify. Enter Warren, a surely mechanic's apprentice attempting to get custody of his deaf 15-year-old brother. From the moment Warren drives up 30 minutes late blasting music out of his car, Chloe is convinced that this is a very bad idea, but they eventually agree to live together for the sake of their youngest siblings. In fact, they're far more similar than she could have ever imagined. What started as a force begins to feel natural and far less lonely. Chemistry soon intensifies beyond what either of them can stand, but is their mutual attraction worth risking everything for? Love of forced proximity. So that is the second book. And then the third book is Bride by Ali Hazlewood. So I'll read the back of this. Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast again. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She's been called upon to uphold an historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Weirs, and sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again. Weirs are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Morland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice, and unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust it. If only he knew how right he was. Because Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage, of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with the politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in weird territory, alone with the wolf. That sounds quite good. I am super excited for that. So they are the three books that I've chosen. I finished Bully by Penelope Douglas last night, so I do need to pick a new book to read straight away. So which one do you think we should go for? I'm thinking because that one was a romance, I'm going to go for a thriller, nice easy read by Freida McFadden, and we're going to start with The Crash. So yeah, happy reading, and I will hopefully have filled this jar with TBR prompts for my March TBR, because I will be doing that at the start of the month. So yeah, happy reading and enjoy.